Well, hi folks. Here we are, Sunday. What are we at? It's June 14th. Almost officially halfway through. Stephen Nesbitt here, Vancouver Island. As always, thanks for coming. And I will put some links at the end of this so you can check them through. You see what's happening in the U.S. is also happening in Britain. There's some good takes on it from that side of the world as well. And I think the same. Anybody who is putting more than enough brain cells together to get a circuit is starting to sort of be concerned. There's something going on here that's not just on the surface. When you look at our leaders sort of sitting back waiting, maybe they know something we don't know. Who knows? But I think when you look at police officers across North America, in UK it's different. You know, they're sort of they're chasing people who are trying to defend the statues, chasing people who are taking banners off of Churchill. They're chasing people who are not social distancing, but in the middle of the riot, all of the police are standing down. It's sort of crazy. And you know, you start to let's go to the U.S. first. I mean, the police forces in the U.S. have got to be running on with their backs against the wall. And it's totally unfair. You mean there's the odd nobody's saying there isn't a bad police officer who shouldn't be there, but just look at New York. How many people died by being put on ventilators when they shouldn't have? How many people were killed by bad doctors? Nobody's marching about that. I mean, you look at many of the people who are in the street today. I mean, who educated these people? There's a lot of bad teachers out there, and nobody's talking about that. I mean, there's bad eggs in every profession, and I think until we get a handle on that and recognize that, we're still going to go in circles. I was listening to the demands of one twit who is in Seattle, in that crazy zone. I call it the crazy zone. And a couple of his demands were just to end systemic racism, and the other one was to abolish private schools. Now he wants everybody to be a dumbass like he is, I suppose, receive his kind of education. I found that interesting. And of course defund and do away with police officers. And it's interesting because in their little 2-block or 6-block area, they still have people with AK-47s. They have their own police officers. Do away with the police officers and we'll put we have our idiots to take over. And I think it's, like I say, it's getting a bit annoying. And some people are just sitting on their hands, sitting there. But when they come to your house, what are you going to do? Especially if the police have been disbanded. What are you going to do? Who are you going to call? I mean, I watched in Atlanta where they burnt down another restaurant, and it took a while for the fire department to get in. I mean, they obviously they're not going to send a fire department in to have them get sort of attacked, but it's pandemonium, chaos, and anybody who is looking at it and saying, oh no, this is all peaceful, are full of shit. And that mayor, the governor of Washington State, the mayor of Seattle, the hell is she doing? Is she still baking brownies for those people in the park or in the streets? I guess, you admire leadership. And whatever you thought of Margaret Thatcher, I mean, there was a strong leader. Compare that to the leader and the mayor of, or the governor of Washington State, to the mayor of Seattle. I mean, there's no comparison. I don't know what the hell they're pulling. It's some kind of new age, whatever. And again, you look at the mayor of London, a total jackass. And okay, so we've talked about Britain, and we've talked about the States a bit. Now we come to Canada. And it's no better here. We don't have people burning things yet. We have marches all around from most of the people. You like to think they're just caught up and they mean well. But I think most of them if some of them are no better educated than their American counterparts. And I think they just don't know up from down, some of these people. And it's interesting, I saw a poll where 55% of millennials want to do away with the capitalistic system. Think about that. That's sort of interesting. Now, anybody who's been on the planet for a while, studied history and looked around, it may not be the best system. It can always be improved. But what do you want to go to? A dictatorship, fascism, communism? Just look at Hong Kong. Young people there are dying to keep their democracy. Here people are marching and abusing police officers. They're defacing monuments, trying to destroy culture and history because they want to have the system that the young people in Hong Kong don't want. Go figure. I think sometimes we have a spoiled generation, and not all of them. I mean, there's some industrious ones, and I think I might have mentioned the young lady I know whose father disowned her when she was 12. She would send him Christmas and birthday presents, and he wouldn't open them, would send them back. She got a job when she was 12 to earn some money. Finished high school as an A-level student. Is now in college as an A-level student. Still working part-time while she was doing her college, and of course now it's virtual. So she gets to do everything online, but she is doing that. And so there's sort of no excuse for people who say, well, we just would, but we couldn't because you're not letting us or whatever. If you want to, you'll find a way. And if you've got some character and some attitude, you'll find people who will help you. They're not going to give you a handout. They'll give you a hand up. Of course, our government in Canada, Trudeau, doesn't understand that. And he's handing out bags of money and whatever. He now figures there's 190,000 people who got the money he was handing out who shouldn't have, and they're on a hunt down now. They got to pay it back. He could have prevented that. He could have totally prevented that case in the beginning. But maybe he wanted to do that so he could give up the money, and now he's going to look tough chasing down young people who shouldn't have applied. That's the brainless bureaucrats in government we have, and I call that brainless because it wouldn't have taken much to sort of figure that out. On the other hand, they offered senior citizens $300 to help them through this virus period. They still haven't got it yet, and by the way, the last time I heard the minister who's in charge said they're really being careful. They want to make sure there's no fraud involved. Well, the only friggin' fraud there could be involved is on their end, because all they're doing is looking at who they're sending pensions to, and they're going to send this $300 to. Makes no sense. That's the idiots we have running the place. And again, I look at the three countries we talked about, and I think a lot of the people who are in charge should be doing something else, because they're obviously, unless there's something I just totally don't know, and they're going to pull a curtain back and we'll all be surprised, and then I'll be apologizing for what I'm saying about them. But I don't think there is. I just think they're just nameless twits who don't have an idea of what to do. And all one can hope is that people don't start taking the situation into their own hands. But that's all for now. I'll put all those links on, and you can click on them if you like, and if you don't, well. But there's some good stuff there. Give you a perspective of not only in where you are, but all around. Maybe you already have done that, and if you have, well, just delete this thing, and away you go. Take care. Bye for now.